Welcome to the Ani-TAY Podcast, Episode 9. This is me, Ken, and I'm with my four guests here, as always. David.
Hey.
Kevin.
Hello.
Richard.
Hello.
And the amazing Matt Wilkes, also known as mdubs.
Hello.
Thanks for coming here to join us.
Yeah, thanks. Great to be here. Great to be here. So I guess I missed my cue there, but great to be here. Happy to be here.
We'll pretend it's lag. Don't worry. All right.
Are we going to give him the questions like always?
Yeah. We'll just. I was going to just go explain the episode first before we go into that. So just this episode, we'll be talking about shows airing this season in the fall 2014, and ideas of previous shows that we've all watched and how to improve them. But first, as Richard said, let's get into knowing our special guest Matt. So Matt, would you like to explain yourself and how you got here?
Yep, so you can find me on Tay, so my username is mdubs, and I'm from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, the most wonderful place in the universe, in my opinion.
Oh, Canada! Sorry.
That's right. So, what do I write? Well, I write a lot about, specifically video games. I do write about anime from every now and then, but typically I stay more in writing about video games, Valkyria Chronicles, Fire Emblem, that sort of thing. How did I get into anime? I've been watching for about, I would say about a year now. It all started with a wonderful little game called Persona 4 Golden, best game of all time. And after that, I had to go watch the anime. And just after finishing the anime, I decided that I better keep watching. And so I was looking at reviews, and I stumbled on a review of Sword Art Online by one Richard Eisenbeis, and started watching that show and was hooked after that. So that's my story of how I got into anime there.
And you meet the very man here, and he's the very man's right here.
Yes, pad my ego. Make it grander and grander.
Like his username on Twitter.
Yes, indeed.
Biggest in Japan.
And after a year and a half of watching this medium, what would you say are your top threes that none of us endorse until we agree later on? You made some pretty bold claims already, it seems, with Persona 4 being the best video game. Just saying.
Because it is. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Well, he's not wrong. So, top three anime, I'd say for number 3, I'd go with Bakuman. Great story. Love the manga, love the anime. Great bit of work there. Number 2, I'd go with Death Note. Just great starter anime, I think, in terms of the scheming and stuff going on. I remember that was probably the second show I watched, and it still held up really well. I've introduced a lot of my friends to it, so that's something that I really appreciate. Yeah. And number 1 is Silver Spoon, of course. Just one of the most hilarious shows I have ever had the pleasure of witnessing, and we need a season 3. So
about Death Note, I'd say that the live actions are better. I really enjoyed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And but we have to of course ignore L, the last word, because that is the biggest pile of crap ever. Wow, is that bad?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, out of all the guests we've had, I think Silver Spoon has come up more often than Death Note, surprisingly, actually. Is it just me? I must be going...
Have we
Probably
had...
not.
Coda said so, but did anyone say Death Note?
That's more than one.
No, yeah, I don't think anybody's ever said Death Note before.
Yeah. So the first Canadian to also say Death Note is one of their best.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, what can I say? Good piece of work.
So many firsts.
Wait, what was that again? The third one was...
Bakuman.
Was one more time?
Bakuman.
Bakuman. Okay, I haven't seen it.
So the anime about the manga. Well, no, that sounds ridiculous. The anime about a manga artist making manga, isn't it? Am I right in saying that? Yeah, the shonen one, yeah. I haven't seen it myself.
Yeah, the anime about the manga of making manga. Also by Oba and Obita, so same authors of Death Note.
That's a lot of recursive logic right there.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. No, those are good ones.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Bakuman is quite popular as well, being a shonen series as well. But
yeah.
Those shonens.
Stealing all my fans.
No, Silver Spoon is amazing. It really is fantastic.
No doubt.
One day I will get to it. One day.
Yeah, I know, right? One day. Just one day.
Yeah,
that's a crime though that you haven't watched that
just
yet.
After the next series that's on my backlog, just after that one.
Yeah, it's just after the next season that I'm watching, and then after the backlog after that season, then when that season comes after that, it's gonna be there somewhere. Don't worry.
Right now I'm gonna make Ken squeal because I'm watching Chihaya Furu, and it's gonna take a while.
Oh yes, it's you'll love it. But speaking of seasons, let's get back to the current season for 2014 even. Right. Now, we've all here selected our own special shows that we like to talk about, but I think mine is probably best to go since it's actually finished an arc, which is Sword Art Online 2. Now, just to give an overview for people who don't know, they just finished the arc of Gun Girl Online and solved the mystery of, what's his name, Death Gun, and his murdering schemes and such, and then transition into the Caliburn, not Excalibur, the Caliburn arc. Mm-hmm. And that's where the latest episode, I think they just finished apparently, but obviously I've not seen it.
Yeah, it was just a couple hours ago though, so not too many of us have watched it yet.
Exactly, yeah.
I did.
It was enjoyable.
Me too.
God, lucky you guys. So, but overall though, the arc's been pretty amazing. I think it's, I'm hoping it doesn't fall in the same pattern of the last Sword Art Online, where season 1 absolutely fantastic, and even in the actually ending was actually quite good, unlike the cheating that went on in Sword Art Online. But Gun Girl cleaned up quite nicely, I think.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The strongest point of Sword Art Online is the fact that each arc, it's able to completely reinvent the series. The first one is a death game. The second arc is Rescue the Princess. Gun Gale Online is a cyberpunk murder mystery. Mother Zazario is a coming-of-age story. Caliber is just, let's faff about and have some fun, because we just got out of a murder mystery.
Yeah,
Yes!
It definitely does feel like it needs that break, because I felt like Gun Girl pacing-wise was actually really good. Like, it always felt like there was something that needed to happen. Like, Kirito was always under pressure to quickly find out before these deaths happen in Battle of Bullets. So you had that organic, sense of pressure and urgency. We can't let these people die because they might die in real life. So they're suddenly like under pressure. They're trying to get things done, which is great. And then obviously after that such a quite brisk journey we had, they finally slow down a bit. Let's play an AI game. There's no real consequences if we screw up. Simply put, well, from what it seems anyway, Excalibur arc, because I find it really weird how they humanize with AIs, but that's just me, after playing games for so long.
A bit.
But yeah, it was good to have that break. I'm very happy to see Caliber in there, because Shion is such a good character, and it's nice to get an epilogue with her, to just see her with the others.
10 out of 10 would look at Sinon's ears again. Damn it, I did it again.
Sure. I'm sure other people will replace the word ears with something else, but that's only thanks to Gun Girl's other words.
Yeah, and
so disappointing.
Okay, and I always remember this very kind of important writing thing, which is long ago in the days of, must have been high school or middle school, we were reading Hamlet, and the teacher says, okay, why does the graveyard scene exist in Hamlet? And you're like, well, I don't know, why does it? She's like, well, it doesn't further the plot. It, why? And it's because without that, the story is so serious and so depressing that you come away just feeling completely terrible. You need that break, that moment of like emotional release where you aren't constantly worried.
Absolutely.
And about the characters, that gives you this break. And while Gun Gale Online and Mother Zazario are very different stories, one being like a kind of action-filled murder mystery and the other being coming of age, one is very kind of like action-y tense, and the other one is very emotionally tense. And just going from one into the other, it's tough. It would be very tough to go from one to the other like that.
You definitely need that moment to just let yourself transition between the two. You definitely need that space to just cool down and let yourself back to a neutral stance and to your mindset before you watch another entire genre almost.
Yeah, and it's all about palate cleansing, right? You just got to cleanse your palate before you go into something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sword Art Online was one of the very few shows you carried on watching throughout the entire season, Matt. How did you find it, Gun Gal, altogether in the end?
Well, I felt like it was a big recovery from the Fairy Dance arc anyways, in terms of I felt like the plot was a little more focused, where they didn't run off on sort of tangents regarding sort of the world of Alfheim Online, and I felt Gun Gale, managed to stay relatively, on track throughout the story, and I appreciated the way that they were able to raise the tension in terms of having Death Gun there, where they were able to sort of reincorporate the higher stakes of the first arc of Sword Art Online, which I felt were kind of missing from the second arc. So I felt like that was a pretty big strength of that. But I thought it was interesting that we were talking about, Caliber as being a bit of a breather, because they did kind of, I felt like they kind of awkwardly raised the tension a little bit in terms of Leafa, who was one of Kirito's sort of members of the party in that. Yep.
Okay,
that's
sorry.
one way of putting it.
Yeah, sorry. I guess we're not on the right wavelength. Yeah.
Sorry. Well, I don't know. I'm one of those who would vehemently say it's not a harem, because just because the girls like him doesn't mean it's a harem. He's been with Asuka from the very beginning. There's never been a question nor a wavering in Kirito. It's always been Asuna.
But it certainly doesn't show it. I mean, obviously it's stated as a fact, an underlying rule, but it never fully cleans. Well, yeah, shows these.
I mean, but we never see him go on a date with another girl or anything like that. I don't know. I was kind of.
I just thought it was funny. I just thought it was funny when he was, he was introducing Shino in a Gil sort of cafe afterwards. He's like, "Oh, by the way, here's my friend Asuna." It's just like, really? That's it? So I thought that was kind of funny.
It's like, really, that's the words you're gonna drop? Fantastic.
The Crunchyroll comments were bringing that one up. It's like, does Sinon actually know they're together? It doesn't. A couple of you haven't watched it, but A1 Pictures kind of did a little bit of shipping on deck. The light novels play out the scene where she flirts with him a little differently, so it seems a little bit more like actual flirting. And it's while Asuna's standing there, so you're just going, that's gutsy.
But
anyway.
I definitely feel, to go back on what you're saying about how you felt like they didn't go off into tangents, I think that's right. They didn't rush off to quickly explain how Gun Girl worked. They actually explained it step by step as and when we needed to know how stuff works, rather than quickly, exposition dump, quickly explain how everything works in Gun Girl Online and make sure everyone understands on the right page, which clearly doesn't work, because no one in their right mind can almost sit through 20 minutes of just exposition and just an explanation of how a single game works. Is to step by step, eventually showing us how the gun system worked, the aiming, how Kirito somehow magically deflects bullets with his lightsaber. It actually, step by step, we come to know it, rather than, hey, quickly, this is how we do everything in the world. Now go and find Def Gun. That's his name, yeah. So I think you're right in that.
But I found, it's funny that we're talking about exposition, because episode 15, in my mind, probably the weakest episode of Sword Art Online so far. Episode 15 being the first episode of the Caliber arc, because that was, a solid 17-18 minutes of exposition there, where they were kind of sitting around the cafe, as we were discussing earlier, and just discussing things, and then we got a long explanation from the Fairy Queen, telling them about the quest, and I just felt like that wasn't very well done. There were better ways they could have incorporated that. So that, to me, that kind of got the arc off on the wrong foot, and just the next two episodes quite good. I quite enjoyed today's episode and last week's episode, but that first episode just didn't do it for me. So
I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. I mean,
that's fine,
I know it's not well done, but I sure enjoyed it, and it's because the thing I've always been looking for from these MMO animes is what Dot Hack did like a decade ago, where Dot Hack focused on the lore of the world. It's the world, and they executed that part well. It's great world building.
The world within the world.
And SAO hasn't really had any lore at all. SAO's been doing whatever it felt like doing, and that's one of the strong points, but I missed the lore. I mean, the reason why Log Horizon is entertaining is because it focuses on how it's a game, and the reason why Dot Hack was entertaining was because how it focused on the world, how it focused on what the characters, the lore. And I felt that this was the first time into seeing what the lore of SAO
of
Alfenheim was. And I really enjoyed it. So this was like that was my favorite episode of SAO thus far. So
Really.
That's interesting.
No, I have to agree. I felt that the explanation of the cardinal system was particularly good, explaining why this quest sort of existed, but they just kept too much exposition together, and that was more my beef with it, rather than the actual explanation itself, which was quite good in terms of building on the lore of the world.
You're
like you're
talking
saying.
to the person who plays visual novels, who is used to sitting through exposition
Well.
for hours on end.
You've just grown a thick skin, Kevin.
Right.
You've just got a thick skin for it.
Well, the thing is, like, that's, I think, the weakest part about a lot of anime in general, and Sword Art Online in particular, is sometimes they adapt it too closely to the light novel. In a light novel, you can get away with them sitting around a cafe talking about stuff. It's a written medium. All you are getting is an info dump by reading it, right? Mm-hmm. So it doesn't really, it's not really that different. But when you put it on film, when you put it on screen, then suddenly you see that it really is nothing but that. You know, it really is them just sitting around talking. And and I think that's the point where a lot of directors need to take a chance and show not tell. I mean, it's the simplest rule of, well, writing, and especially when it comes to film as a visual
medium, exactly. Yeah.
Is very much like, I mean, don't get me wrong, you can show the quest, but was there any reason to have Kirito and Lifa telling the others about it instead of just having us see it happen and then see a couple weeks later with Kirito and them going, and that's what happened?
Yeah,
and we should challenge it. Like, very minor changes can be done to make it more visually interesting, and yet not change anything in the story, really. Don't get me wrong. If they follow this pattern, the very first episode of Mother's Rosario is gonna be really boring because it's gonna be everybody sitting in a house.
I'll be fine with that.
It just does not start fast. But if you want to mix up the events and do it chronologically instead of people telling other people about things that happened, then you can actually start off that first episode and make it probably the most exciting episode in Sword Art Online. But all you have to do is do it chronologically. And again, this is something where I feel directors need to take more of a chance, because adaptations are great, but the thing is you actually need to adapt it. Not just rip it off the page.
Unlimited Budget Works has been doing that.
Oh yeah.
The other series have done it as well. I mean, look at the Monogatari or the Monogatari series. They've adapted well with just dialogue itself. But maybe it's that might be just due to the source, of course. But yeah. Were you about to say, Matt?
No, I was just about to say, in terms of Richard saying that they could have presented it chronologically, I'm not sure, but I think that because Kirito's avatar is different in Caliber, I think in the flashback it was showing his sort of old Alpha Online. I'm not too sure on sort of the chronology there, but
the chronology of it
did that take place during sort of when they were on their way to rescue Asuna during Fairy Dance? Or was that afterwards?
That's afterwards.
I think it was
basically what happens with Kirito is at the point where he beats at the point where he rescues Asuna, he deletes that character, the Sword Art Online character, and re-rolls another character. And the only thing that carries over is
his stats.
The girl. What's her name?
Yui.
Yui. He gives Yui to Asuna. Basically, Asuna rolls a character. He gives Yui to Asuna. He deletes Sword Art Online Kirito and restarts from the beginning so that he has fair stats. The point of keeping the stats originally from Sword Art Online was for no other reason than to rescue Asuna. But if he's actually going to play Offenheim as a game, he wants to be on the same level as everyone else. So he starts over at level 1 with a brand new character.
How noble.
Well, I mean, it's fun to play a game. I mean,
yeah,
you can play. You can put in cheats in most games, but that takes away most of the fun if you do.
True.
But nonetheless, like that's from that point on, he's he's no stronger than any other character as far as like skills and attacks go and attack power and stuff. But it's basically after Gun Gale Online ends. That's when Lifa and Kirito find the thing, and and then it's like then they get Shinon in, and then they have to power level her for like a week, and then they get back to this.
And I think one of the main reasons, I mean, it might be good fortune or bad fortune, but the fact that Log Horizon happens to air, I think maybe is it just after or during Sword Art Online, and obviously again this season even.
No, they don't air at the same time.
Oh, okay, but
they do on Crunchyroll, but
they do on Crunchyroll.
On Crunchyroll, they're pretty closely packed because they both released today.
Yeah, so it's I guess I think because of that it allows us to able to compare both Sword Art Online and Log Horizon so closely due to them being almost so similar. That allows maybe for some reason why some people might critique it in such of world developing like Log Horizon does, compared to storytelling, which maybe Sword Art Online prioritizes more over, which allows maybe different dividing opinions.
Well,
I mean, it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, but at least it's a comparison to have.
I don't know. I'm annoyed by that for a simple reason. Let's take it a step away, and we'll say this. All right, Star Wars. Star Wars is set in space. People have ray guns. They fly on spaceships. Star Trek is set in space. They fly on spaceships. They have ray guns. Clearly, one is a ripoff of the other. Setting does not make them the same. They're fundamentally different on every level. One is a space fantasy, one is science fiction. These are very, very different things. Same thing with like Log Horizon, Sword Art Online. Sword Art Online is a lot of things, but it has never been an economically based society building exploration set in a video game. It's never been that. Not once.
In computer science, I just put a negation term on Sword Art Online, and it would be Log Horizon, and that's why I agree with that postulation about Star Wars and Star Trek. It's okay to compare them, but I do not think it's okay to say, "Oh, Sword Art Online is better because it does blah."
Or it's a rip-off. They're not one. A setting does not make it. Like
I was just pointing out, it's just that if it happened to us so closely, a lot of people are going to just verge into that, saying, "Oh wait, these two shows are about video games and how they're trapped in it." Or not anymore.
And MMO trapped anime have been done before, like I said with Dot Hack.
True,
so,
with Dot Hack, yeah.
I mean,
again,
they all
Dot
focus
Hack
on
is
very
also
different things,
different.
and they do very different things. Like they're very different. Like so, you really can't make the comparison.
Yeah.
It'd be easier to compare Spice and Wolf to Log Horizon than it would SAO to Log Horizon when it comes to storytelling.
Sure,
possibly,
stuff like that.
Yeah,
fair enough. Yeah, but it's just, I just want to point out that some people are happy to do that, where some opinions may contrive from, and obviously it's unwarranted. Some of these opinions, well, some of it, of course, some are valid. Obviously, some are just conjecture. But yeah, it's just maybe, like I said, it could be good fortune, could be bad that Log Horizon happened to be airing roughly within a year of Sword Art Online.
Yeah, it is interesting that they overlap.
I do think it can be fun to compare them. Just to say, I think it can be fun to compare them. Be like, oh, what if the first arc of Sword Art Online was more like Log Horizon?
We'll leave that for segment 2, I think, David. But don't worry, we're not doing that. We're not covering a Sword Art for that.
But actually. I mean, that can be fun. I don't think anybody here is saying that it's not okay to say that and you can like compare and contrast these things. But as long as you're being nice about it and not trying to rip on the other show by doing it, that's really all I want to say.
As long as you have a stand or ground based on it. But yeah. But in the end, guys, would we say Gun Gale was I'd say Gun Gale Online was a really fantastic arc, and the transition at the moment into Caliburn is fine so far.
I would say Caliburn was a good arc, not fantastic. I mean, it did have some stumbling blocks, like pacing at the beginning, and just a lot of people complained about things, but it was enjoyable and it was good. I wouldn't say it's fantastic though.
Yeah, same here. Caliber was not fantastic, neither was Gun Gale, but they both were very solid, and I like them for that. It's very difficult to have It's very difficult to have a solid show all the way through a season. I think both of these arcs have accomplished that so far.
Okay, I think the most important thing when you're talking about if something was, good or not is what did Sword Art Online set out to be with Gale Gun?
Mm-hmm.
It set out to be an interesting murder mystery action adventure. Was it an interesting murder mystery action adventure?
Yes.
Then that's the long and the short. But I mean, was it a deep introspection into, feminism and genre tropes or, something like that? Like, was it something that just like blew your mind on a, highly intellectual level? No, of course not, but it was never trying to be that.
Yeah.
Yes. That's kind of what I mean by solid. That's what I mean by solid.
Yeah. Is it going to change your world? No. But if you're looking for good, fun action adventure, there you go. It's right there.
Yeah, I think one of the first and foremost things when we do it, even just watching anything, even it doesn't matter what it is, be it from a drama to anything, is it for entertaining and fun? And for me, Gun Girl was it was just a good show. That arc was just fun to watch anyway. I didn't have to be over analytical while watching it, as long as it was just fun and I could enjoy myself with it, and that's all I was looking for. And I feel so you, Richard, earlier saying that we actually get to keep Shion as a character. Obviously, yeah, I think that's fantastic as well. That would be the worst thing to happen if just after Gun Girl ended, no more Shion. I'd be like, holy crap! Wasn't that just like major part in your life?
Exactly, and that's kind of just what it is.
Cool.
Like that's basically what happens. You will see no Shion in Mother's Rosario. She is not in it unless they add her in, which honestly I wouldn't be surprised if they do. But no, she's gone because what they didn't really say about Caliber is she transferred her character. And she transfers it back because her game is Gun Gale.
Fair enough, yeah. But it's like you said, we be able to like finally have a conclusion with it. At least we say we finally develop her character at the end, and that's how it is.
Yeah, and darn it, isn't it nice that she gets some friends? Of all the people, like at the end of it, can you imagine how dick it would have been if it's like, well. It's like, well, my investigation has pretty much removed all possible friendships from your life. Bye, Shion. Haha.
Gotta get going. Yeah. Gotta play other games.
Like that would have been the most dick thing ever. So the fact that it's like, no, I have given, your friends are my friends, kind of thing. Or my friends are your friends. It's nice. It's nice that, we see that she has some support network. But yeah, but Caliber, at least the novelization, in Mother's Rosario in the novelization, no, there's not even a single mention of Shion in the whole thing.
Not even a hint of it.
Then again, I don't know why Asuna would really have anything to say about Shion, but there you go.
Right, and that brings us to to be fair, the last show that we picked that actually is going on to 4th 2014, which is all online. But now let's discuss some of the newer shows, the stuff that will be fun. Well, hopefully, and let's start with Kevin. I think you've picked a fantastic show.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it as well.
I was going to gush on Fate Stay Night more, but then I figured...
What?
Fair enough.
So,
did you catch up on it, Matt? Just a quick note. Did you catch up?
Well, I watched the first episode today, so trying to catch up on that a little bit.
Sorry, do you mean the first episode or the 0 episode?
There's a 0 episode?
Did you mean
of Parasyte?
Oh, no,
Parasite.
No,
we've already jumped. I missed my chance. Okay. There we go. Unlimited budget works. Watch it just because you'll wonder how they got the money for it. There, right there. That's the only reason you need to watch. Everything else, that's just a bonus.
Yeah.
The fact that it's a really action-packed and a good story, that's the bonus.
Well, action-packed good story. Well, there's Parasyte. So,
Freaking
Kevin,
amazing.
if you would like to introduce us to Parasyte. Well, its full name, I can't remember what it is now off the top of my head.
It's Parasyte. Just go with it.
Parasyte or Kiseiju. It's a really old manga in 1990s.
Stop making me feel old.
Yeah,
Damn it, that made me feel old.
Sorry, carry on.
And it finally is getting an anime adaptation by Madhouse. And oh gosh, it's amazing. Madhouse is doing a great job. I'm so happy. Everything about this is great, and the interactions between Migi and the main character, awesome.
I have to say, I'm so happy that it's received quite a positive response, because I was so worried that people, obviously ever since how Attack on Titan exploded into popularity and such, I was horrific that people might think, oh, Parasyte is just a rip-off, or people think it's too similar, and thank God people are actually embracing of how good a show it actually is, and because of that, I'm just happy that it's not getting just disregarded and for no reason, even though it's a different show altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, sorry, Attack on Titan even. But it's a great show, isn't it? It's fantastic soundtrack. Oh, I love the soundtrack.
You know what's really that was so funny. Like the dubstep. It's like, oh, dubstep. I just started laughing when the dubstep showed up. No, because it was okay. That's the thing. Yeah. It is well used.
So well used.
I guess that's my favorite thing about this. Now, this is this is an early 90s to late 90s manga, right? And is what it's based on, and that's probably the thing I guess I like about it the most is they've updated it with things like a soundtrack you would expect nowadays, like dubstep. And even me being not very much of a dubstep fan really likes it in context with Parasyte. But what I also like is that they've updated aspects of the setting. The dad isn't reading a newspaper at the table, he's reading his iPad.
Yeah.
You know, like these little things that, again, this is the point. Adaptation, right? That I was harping on before. We're adapting it to the modern setting. So things that, like, oh, he doesn't have, ancient cell phone. Everybody has a smartphone now, and his father has a tablet, and, these other things to make it much more modern. But it doesn't change the story in a negative light. It just makes it more relatable for today's viewers. Great.
Yeah, it's just the small things that freshen up the show to make it, relative. And you're definitely right in that.
Sounds a lot better than the first series of White Album. I'm not going to get too far. I'm not going to get too far into this. I don't know. Have you seen it, Richard?
No. I've just heard that it was so unbelievably stretched out and boring that everyone should have.
It was. But really, the entirety of the conflict in that show, whatever the hell conflict it is, comes from the fact that nobody has a cell phone because it was set in like the 70s. That's all I'm going to say about that. You cannot understand. You cannot understand why any of this is happening, at least in today's terms. So that's why I think it tanked so badly. It just doesn't make any sense anymore.
Like, I guess I kind of like it when, like, if you want to do that as a plot. What game was it? It's really dark visual novel about a serial killer. Girl in the Shell. The Girl in the Shell.
Girl in the Shell. Oh, I think I've seen that.
Yeah.
You did a review on it, right?
Yeah, I reviewed it, and it's the thing that was cool about that. One of the things I actually did like about that was it was set in the I believe the 70s, so there were no cell phones, but that was like a major plot point. Is like when one of the characters goes out, and and suddenly he discovers like, this person's in danger. How can he get a hold of them? And it's like mad rush as he calls different places, runs around the street, and tries to find the person before they're in danger. And it can work. It can work as a plot device. But then again, you would never try to adapt that to modern day because then it would make no sense whatsoever. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it can work both ways, but... Because, yeah, absolutely. When you have... especially when you have a very contrived plot based on the fact that nobody has cell phones. But yeah,
Reining it back to Parasyte, Matt, you've seen the first episode, so you probably have the clearest impression than everyone here since we've seen the consequencing episodes. How do you find Parasyte at the moment? Well, how do you feel?
Well, after the first episode, I can't say what I feel strongly on the show one way or another. The concept to me was kind of interesting, but to be honest, like, this is going to sound a little bit crass, but, I just can't get past the fact that he has, like, an alien in his hand and that sort of thing. It just strikes me as kind of an odd sort of concept, but I'll be interested to see where they go with that and how they use that to further the story. But, I have to agree with Richard's point about, bringing it forward in terms of timeline where you're taking in a manga that's set in a very different time slot and bringing it forward to the modern day, because I wouldn't have been able to tell unless he had told me that. So overall, I'm feeling fairly positive about the show, and I'll probably keep watching it. So yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Then you'll be watching it. Because at the moment, I also worried about the budget of the show and seeing the scope of what they want to try to achieve, and thankfully it has the budget. It seems to perform some of the fight scenes that later on. I'm trying to avoid spoilers here, but that they show, it's really good.
Well, it's Madhouse, so that's kind of to be expected. It's really enjoyable.
Wub 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 wub.
You know what? I think it's astounding use of soundtrack. Like, probably one of the best so far this season. Honestly.
Yeah, I have to agree. Good soundtrack there. So no complaints from me there.
But I do love that first scene where he realizes there's something wrong, and then he handles the parasite, and it goes up to his arm. So he just thought how I'm going to handle this is make sure there's no blood circulation through this arm.
And he puts on a tourniquet.
His parents come in. Yeah, and then his parents come in. It's like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, they just give him the weirdest expression. They're just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think I find it really funny because obviously there's that almost slight innuendo where the parents think he's masturbating when clearly he's not. It's just his right hand, that's clearly affected. And obviously in the first episode, I'm pretty sure he groped his childhood friend.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
So,
yeah. No, yeah. Was it childhood friend or the girl he likes, or are they the same person in this one?
I think it was childhood friend.
They're always interchangeable though, because he probably does like her. In fairness.
Yeah.
Or she likes him, whatever.
Yeah. But I really find the comedic side of it really great, because it just makes sense that, as part of his body, which happens to be his right hand, and he's, trying to hide what he's doing with his right hand in every scene. I find it very humorous, but that's just my crass sense of humor, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's fun. It's a good one.
Yeah,
and I kind of like I think my favorite episode so far was the third one, where he kind of goes on its pseudo date, and they find the dog in the park, or is it a cat? No, the cat in the park. And I was like, it just like watching, like I'm like, they're gonna throw a rock at him, and it's not gonna work. They're gonna die. These poor guys. Like it's always that question of like how lethally is Migi going to react to any stimuli. And I like that, because it's really kind of scary like that. Like, yeah, you want these bullies to get their comeuppance, but you don't want them dead, You don't want him to be a murderer, especially in front of the girl. And you wonder, but Migi doesn't understand nor particularly care that the girl is there.
I think I like to say that because I love Migi's personality. It's more calculating. It's more logical. It's like it's not that he doesn't want to. He does not. It's not that he doesn't understand. He just does. You choose not to understand. In a sense, how maybe this is the wrong character, but in Sherlock doesn't know how the sun rotates or the Earth rotates around the sun. He doesn't need to know that. It's useless information that wouldn't help him in his life. How Migi doesn't care about how human interacts between one another. He cares about survival. That's his key drive, which is great, I think. So really,
and when he lays down the law, though, it's like, well, I guess I could just rip off your legs and your other arm, as long as you have a mouth and a stomach. I'm pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes they actually play that off quite comedically. Every time the guys is always like, how come you only my left arm? And then it's like, why didn't you choose to? I think this is later on in the episode. I'm trying to avoid spoiler, where Migi's offered a choice.
Yes.
And he chooses against it. And then what was the reasoning why? He goes, well, I don't know, because I just simply I don't know the probability of the chance of it happening.
Of it being
true. But we can always try it now if you want. And he just like, goes into spike mode and blade mode. It's just like, oh my god, is it happening? Nah, they're just joking around. Which is, I think, is hilarious at points.
Yeah.
But really dark, really dark.
Yeah, it could turn really dark, and yet, and it wouldn't ruin the story. Like, that's the thing. It's always sitting right on the border of comedic or terrifying, and you're never sure which way it's gonna go. So that's that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I hope it actually develops quite far. I mean, I'm not sure how they're gonna go with it, but it's really fun. It's absolutely entertaining to watch so far. Right, and this will take us now into another show that I think only Richard is watching. I believe.
I thought someone else was watching.
I'm gonna get around to it eventually. I don't know if I still have it marked down.
This is a show that I'm sitting on the fence, but let's have Richard introduce the show first. So
all right.
Knows what we're talking about.
It's the Japanese is Madan no o to Vanitas. In English, it's called The Lord Marksman and the Vanitas. And basically, what it is it's a kind of parallel universe medieval Europe story. And what it is about is it's about a guy who is a count. He's kind of a relatively small but somewhat prosperous like agricultural land. Like that's what he controls. And the neighboring kingdom goes to war with his whole kingdom, and so he has to go, as the lord, he has to go as the knight and kind of represent. And even though they massively outnumber the other kingdom just absolutely decimates his kingdom's army, because at the head of them, they have a Valkyrie. Basically, like Valkyria Chronicles style Valkyrie.
Oh god, okay.
And
this sounds well.
Yeah, and she
OP
controls the wind, basically. She has a sword that controls the wind. You Yeah, she's completely immune to any and all arrows. You know, you shoot at her windshield, whatever. You know, like the wind just disintegrates it. You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, makes sense.
But like the whole army is routed; they can't stop him. And he sees, you know, the Valkyrie riding alone, riding with her honor guard, and says, "Well, I can probably save a lot of lives if I take her down." And takes out 2 of her guards before trying to shoot her. And basically what happens is she easily defeats him, but is stunned by the skill of his archery shots. And basically captures him, you know, under the normal hostage rules, but makes the price so high that there's no way they could buy him back.
Okay.
In the hopes that she could keep him, basically, and convince him to join her army.
And it's the story just progressed from
well,
that point.
and I'm gonna go a little further, because by the end of the first episode, what you learn is the neighboring, like, count of the main character's place, knowing that he is gone, is invading his territory.
Well, yeah, he sees an opportunity to expand his land and wealth, of course.
Right, and so
it's medieval times.
Right,
Everyone does that.
But it's quite clear he's going to put them all to the sword. All the villagers, everyone. And so what he ends up doing is basically making a deal with the Valkyrie for the use of her and her army to protect his lands.
All right,
and from there, it goes from there to basically it looks like he's on the path. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but it looks like he's on the path to conquering his entire kingdom alongside the Valkyrie.
And does this guy have like mixed emotions? Because obviously he has to change allegiance. I mean,
well,
I guess
and that's
he was forced to go to war.
That's the thing, is the allegiance is actually, he has a very clear-cut order, which is one of the cool things about it, is very clear that the top is his people, the people in his area, you know, that he is responsible for. He doesn't, it's like, he doesn't want to willingly give them up to anyone, but as long as they're protected and safe, that's priority number 1. That's above his honor, that's above, you know, his humiliation or humility or anything. That's the order of it, how it works. And I mean, don't get me wrong, she's actually the Valkyrie is a very cool character as well. She's you know, she's, I don't know what the word is, she's actually pretty happy. You'd expect her to be really stoic, but she's not. She's kind of upbeat and happy, and you know, and like she's
Maybe
intrigued
like
by him. She's very, very intrigued by this guy who is an amazing archer when no noblemen are ever archers, because only commoners are supposed to be archers. You know, real men are knights, kind of thing.
Oh, so this nobleman's meant to be like the common guys, and he understands the struggle of, because of his medieval time, he understands the struggle of a peasant and whatnot.
And and so like, and the cool thing is all the battles, when the battles are done, the way they're done is they set up, like you see a map like set up with chess pieces, and it's like, this is a dragon chess piece, and this is, you know, an artilleryman, or I mean an archer chess piece, and this is a knight chess piece or whatever, and they show you how the forces are lined up with these chess pieces, and then move them around, showing them where the battle is going, so you get a really quick down and dirty of what's happening in the battle, and then it zooms in to either the, you know, the noble, or the Lord Marksman, or the Valkyrie, and we see like actually in the battle. So everything moves really quickly, but you understand everything that's going on because they kind of abridge the setup stages of the battles with these chess things.
Okay, so the show seems to be filled with a lot of lore and background details already.
Now, but there is one thing. There's one downside to it. Like, I really love it. It's probably my favorite of the season so far, but it does have a glaring downside.
Season.
That's the thing. It does have a really glaring downside. It's got the fan service.
Yeah,
not super bad. Not super bad
because of it. Like,
not super bad, but it does definitely have the fan service.
Yeah. I
That's the first thing I noted.
The first episode, because I didn't want to deal with the obsessive fan service and generic haremness. I mean, it has an interesting story, but it felt generic to me in the way of execution. So I was like, I'm not the biggest fantasy fan, so I said,
Yeah.
This seems like a good medieval, like fantasy, high fantasy. Is it high fantasy or?
It's actually quite low fantasy. There is no magic other than these Valkyries, it seems. No, and dragons. Dragons exist as well. But that's it. It's dragons and Valkyries are pretty much it. And the Valkyries, there's 7 of them? and that's all.
Okay.
So and they get their powers from dragons. They're very clear about that.
Dragons, man.
Yeah, dragons are the source of the
Dragons.
magic.
They're popular this season.
Yeah.
And last.
But yeah,
couple of seasons back as
it's
well.
good. I love their interactions. It's interesting. The downside is the fan service, but it's not as bad as a lot of stuff. I'll put it that way. But it's like, and it's all.
So
I do kind of
overall-
like, they do have some fun stuff where they poke fun at the fan service, which is a lot of fun. I think in the latest episode, like, some people set it up so that he'll walk in on one of the Valkyries in like the bath, and his response is
okay.
absolutely hilarious because, you know, she freaks out, pulls out, you know, magical spear of ice or whatever to kill him, and he's just like, "Don't you have any shame? Put some damn clothes on." And her response,
Alright.
is, "What? Are you embarrassed when a dog sees you naked?" And I was like, "Okay, fair enough. If we're gonna play it, at least we're gonna play it fun, you know. If I'm gonna have to deal with this, like, I mean, it certainly doesn't have more fan service than, say, No Game No Life. That had more fan service than this.
Okay, yeah.
Wait. Let me just get this straight. You're saying that in Vanadis they said that line?
Yes.
If a dog sees you,
Yes.
Crosshank said basically the same thing one episode.
Yes,
I'm
but
not
we don't
kidding.
like to talk about that show because that show is an abomination.
Well, yeah,
no.
I'm just saying that's kind of suspicious.
Yeah.
They both said the same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe they've all share the same sense of humor.
I guess.
Humor.
So so the overall quality of the show, I mean, obviously you said it's probably the best show you're enjoying at the moment this season, and this is a strong show.
I don't think
Yeah.
he said best. I think he said
Oh,
favorite.
the most enjoyable, sorry.
Yeah, it's my
Okay.
favorite. I don't think it's the best, because
My bad,
I think there
yeah.
are better written ones, but it is certain. It's my favorite because, like, I do like knights. I like low fantasy. I like high fantasy too, but I like low fantasy. I like the fact that it's really based around the tactics. Like,
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Well, that's why you have the
interesting.
chess pieces, because you get these really complex tactics. Like, how does a force of 1,000, even if they have a Valkyrie, how does a force of 1,000 take on a force of 5,000? You know,
Okay, yeah.
on open terrain where, you know, they have 2 dragons on their side. Like, even if you have a Valkyrie, what are you gonna do? How do you properly, you know, split your forces and still protect a town at the same time? You know, and it's all moving around, and you get to see their plans and how it unfolds and stuff. It's fun like that.
Would you say the overall quality of the show is good as well? Because obviously this is going to be a lot of combats happening. And for me, sometimes there has to be a technical standard which allows the show to be any good.
Okay. When it's the wide shots, if you pay attention, you can
Or
see
still
it's
shot.
like the big wide shots. You can tell the you know, all the little armored knights are CG. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
But anytime close up, you'll never see anything CG. It's all still the good hand drawn quality stuff.
Okay.
And it looks surprisingly good for how much action they have in it. I mean, it's not unlimited budget works or you know, those things, but
Yeah.
but no, it's good. It doesn't feel like a budget anime.
No, you certainly piqued my interest for it. I might actually have to have a look into it now. The moment you said it's actually strategy themed, well,
Yeah.
some of it's called about strategy. It might be the next. Not saying it will be, but it might have a hint of Code Geass.
No, it
about
won't.
Nah.
No.
No, it won't.
No,
But
it's
there you go.
it's
I mean-
more like it's what was it? The Hero and the Demon King, Mao Yu. There we are.
Oh, I love that.
It's
show.
kind of
That's
like
kinda
Mao
fun.
Yu, because only with a lot more war, is what I would say. Because yeah, it's very much a war story where you're getting a battle, almost a battle every episode, and some kind of major conflict. You know, but really, if you get down to it, did you like Valkyria Chronicles?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
You're gonna
love the
like
game.
this.
It frustrated me.
That's it.
Oh, I couldn't finish it,
that's
but-
basically what it is. It's that same kind of thing. Like, instead of World War II Europe, though, it's medieval Europe, and that's the only real difference. Same kind of.
I bet it's fantasy Europe as
Yeah,
well, like
yeah.
fake countries.
Looks
of
like I'm
course.
gonna
Yeah.
pick this up again.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Like, the fan service is definitely annoying, but whatever. And I like the two. I really like the Valkyrie and the Marksman, because they get along really well without falling into those standard, basically somebody's a tsundere and somebody's completely oblivious kind of things.
You know,
Those are
we
so
don't have
fun.
those. But that's always done like this time. But no,
Yeah,
she is definitely not a tsundere in any way, shape, or form. And you know, it makes it good like that. And there's actually a fair amount of violence. Like they're not afraid to show gore. You know, if a person gets chopped in half, a person gets chopped in half. If you shoot a guy through the hand, you know, it's not gonna show the shadow or something. No, you're gonna see an arrow sticking through the guy's hand. You know, it's good stuff. I really enjoy it. If you do like fantasy, if you like low fantasy, if you like historical fiction, if you like Valkyria Chronicles, and you can stomach some fan service.
You know, it sounds like almost very similar though to Bahamut that's airing also this season. Obviously, that being a more higher fantasy than this show. But yeah, if it's anything similar, maybe I'll definitely have to give it a shot.
There's a lot of fantasies this season. That's, you know, just realizing it. There's Chaika, there's Garo, there's Bahamut, there's Vanadis.
Yeah.
Sure,
I think
more,
we noticed that pre-season. There's also, did you say Garo?
Yeah, he did.
Oh yeah.
Garo,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we noticed that pre-season that there's a lot of fantasy this time around, and
I'm
people
always
are
happy.
enjoying that.
Yeah, like we've had some
fantasy's
seasons
fine, it's
without
done
any
well.
fantasy recently. Like
If it's done well, I'm happy with it.
yeah,
Ken taking the middle road.
yeah. You know, if it's awesome, I like it. Really,
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
trust me.
if it's water and it tastes like water, I like it because I'm thirsty. Yeah, you know, whatever.
I mean, this probably leads on to probably a semi-fantasy show. I mean, I'd consider it semi as well, but I haven't seen the show itself. But from the sounds of it, sounds very fantasy, which is Trinity Seven, which David's picked for segment.
Yes,
segment,
yes.
yeah.
I grappled with which show I'd do, and I just ended up doing Trinity 7 because I don't think anyone talks about it, and I guess it's kind of an unspoken thing why nobody talks about it. You've seen this show before, okay? You have. It's just it's always been done poorly. So basically...
Yeah, tell us what it's about.
Okay. So Trinity 7 is about, of course, this guy. Hold on. I need to actually look this up while I'm talking so I don't get the names wrong. But basically it starts off with this guy, and he's just living a normal life because that's what happens in Japan. But then
Especially
the first episode... Yes, the first episode... Okay, yeah, his name is Arata.
Okay.
The first episode turns everything on its head, and it's revealed that the whole world he was living in was an illusion, and it has been for like a week or so. In reality, everybody he knew is gone, yada yada yada, and of course there's magicians in the world, and... kind of spoilery, but he has to go... He manages to work his way into a school of magic so he can get back everybody who he lost in what's called the breakdown phenomenon. That took away everybody that he knew. So it's basically a show about magicians. It's a show about this guy going to a school with magicians, and he's basically told by the headmaster, if you want to save everybody from the breakdown phenomenon, you're going to have to get to know the Trinity Seven, who are a group of 7 diverse girls who are the most powerful magicians.
Cough,
They
cough,
happen
hair,
to be
cough,
schoolgirls
cough.
as well. They're always schoolgirls as well.
And it is probably the most, maybe not the most, but it is definitely up there with the most, how to say it,
Harem-y?
it's too early, I can't
Harem-y?
think. Yes.
Harem-y?
Just, it's really upfront about it. It's like, it doesn't make any excuses at all.
Well, that's
at
always
all.
nice. Like, even,
And furthermore,
Yeah.
people, I think a lot of people are caught off guard by just how absolutely overpowered the entire series cast is, and no one cares. Like, the manga author or whatever, he probably looked at this and said, I'm not even going to try to disguise this. They're just OP. And there's something really... I'm not going to say fantastic because it's not, but there's something refreshing about having a cast that can just dish out everything and not care at all.
I like to think they did that in Mahoka, but they did try to care.
Yeah, they did try to care.
Basically, did destroy everything, but yeah.
But you've got this whole diverse range of girls, and you have all of this just complete OP-ness, and you have Arata just being... He's not outright perverted, but he does like to troll the girls. And even better, one of the girls likes to troll with him. So, that's kind of why I think this show is popular, because it just has no shame. It loves to just troll everyone.
Well, there's always something to be said for a show that it knows what it is, it knows who its audience is, and yeah, it's willing to run with it.
It delivers the experience it wants, yeah. I mean, they showed exactly like it last season. Wasn't it the one of the penguins with the backwards tails?
No. Is it really that bad? It's as bad as Die Midler? Oh.
That's the show?
No.
Oh, like, are you serious?
Twin Tails is the spiritual successor of Diamond Dollar, but no. If I had to say, there's been a couple of shows that remind me of it. Magical Warfare, if Magical Warfare didn't suck. Mahoka, it reminds me a little bit of that, but again, everybody's just OP in this show. Those are the only ones that are coming to mind.
Blade Dance comes to mind.
Yeah, Blade Dance, it definitely channels that, but again, it's a lot more audacious, I guess. That one, it just like to do it for, shock laughs. This one just does it so that you're like, they actually did that with a straight face? Okay.
Yeah,
it's quite the show.
As far as the I put up the poll, the Tay anime poll, and I was actually surprised to see really just how well that one was doing. I think it's like 9 or 10 on the list right now. For the most popular. So you're not the only one watching it. It seems a lot of people are watching it and enjoying it. It wasn't even on my radar until Friday. So I'm
maybe we just all have bad taste. I mean, it could just be that. No,
I picked this thing up on a whim because I'm just like, I usually pick up the stuff that nobody else seems to be watching just so I can say I tried something that you guys didn't. And Trinity 7 was one of those things. I didn't hear anybody talking about it. And then when I started watching, I'm like, yeah, this is watchable from week to week. It might be kind of jarring sometimes, but it is watchable.
I don't think I'll be watching it anytime soon. It doesn't sound like the show for me.
Well, no, I'll probably end up hitting that and a couple others tomorrow. So we'll see. Hey, I always try to watch the ones that are the highest in the votes, because obviously a lot of people think those are good. I mean, I watch a lot that aren't in the top, but
I know what you mean.
But if a lot of people like something, that's the thing.
There's got to be some credit to that claim, right? There's got to be some credit to that claim. That's how I see it.
Yeah, because there's always that backlash that kind of, it always happens. It's like, oh, it's not that good. Well, okay, but it is still good. Like, that's kind of the thing.
As long as you can identify which part is actually what you find enjoyable, obviously.
Yeah, or being able to at least see what other people find enjoyable about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. But,
okay. And I think that leads us with Matt's choice, and it's a show that I absolutely adore. And Matt, would you like to introduce it? Because I love this show.
Sure. I can't argue with that assessment right there. So, your lie in April, Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso, is a brand new show airing this fall, and it's based off a manga that won the 2013 sort of Kodansha Manga Award for Best Shonen. So it actually is based off of a pretty critically acclaimed manga, and basically the show concerns a guy named Kosei who used to be a piano prodigy, and after the death of his mother, he is not able to play the piano anymore, and for the next 3 years, he describes his world as without color. And of course, just to cut to the chase, in the first episode, he has an encounter with a girl named Kaori, who is the polar opposite of him, but is also a musician who's a violinist, and she's very free-spirited. And basically, the show is about them, both of them, kind of working through his fears and bring him back into the world of music. So it's got that kind of romantic element, and of course there's also their two friends and such. But the real strong points of the show, the animation is just so gorgeous. The color palette itself,
you're right,
absolutely wonderful, and it ties in really well. Sorry, go on.
With what they're saying. Yeah, you're right. No, it ties in perfectly well with the exactly like his whole thing about the world not being in color, and it's very gray. The gray color palette for the whole show up until the moment he meets her, at which point it becomes all vibrant colors. I was
it
very
just
pleased
explodes into color. Yeah, it's just a treat to the eyes. I mean, like, to be fair, it's always been a show season in, season out, where there's a show that just blinds you with colors, and it's just gorgeous to watch. And I'd say Shigatsu this season is just probably the most colorful show.
Yep.
And it's just it is fantastic to watch.
I definitely
just visually anyway.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I always think there's something to be said for a show that is relatively optimistic in tone, and I'm not sure ultimately which way this is going to go, but at least it has that sort of upward swing where he's going to be making something of his life, and that's a big reason why I like something like Silver Spoon, because it kept a sense of optimism throughout the show. But the musical element in the show, very well done. The performances are absolutely fantastic. In episode 2, they do the Kreutzer Sonata by Beethoven. Absolutely fantastic performance there. And I've seen a lot of comments discussing, because I'm not necessarily a music person, but they're discussing that the show actually pays a lot of sort of attention to detail to the tempo and that sort of thing, so it's very authentic, which is something that I appreciate, and I feel like it really adds to the way the show works.
Yeah, I mean, I've never played the piece myself, but I've actually played the piano a while back, and yeah, I could tell that just through just the audio itself, they actually carefully played it. Obviously, I believe it's the second episode where the accompanist, pianist, just like trying to play along with Kaori, and it's like they obviously she got marked down because it's a competition, not a recital. Mm-hmm. I just thought, oh yeah, that's so true. Like obviously she won the audience award, but it's so true that you're not meant to play like she did in the competition.
No, she just she gave a big middle finger to.
Yeah, like
was it
especially
Beethoven?
In classical music where it's especially in classical music where it's all about precision and how you're meant to play. It's not about the freedom to express. Obviously, when you create the piece, you got the freedom of expression. Right. But when you play it, you're meant to be strict about it. It's all about discipline. You got to be able to play the right key at the right note at the right time. She just blew it all away, and obviously, I thought that was fantastic to notice the contrast between everyone's expectation
exactly
and just what happened.
And you don't have to know anything about music, because basically what happens is, leading up to that scene, you get to hear it 3 times before that, like by 3 different people, all playing it basically exactly the same, and it almost sounds like a different song when she plays it, and it's fantastic. It eases you in even if you don't know anything about music.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually quite organic the way they try to explain it. I mean, like even the beginning where the one character was, I think I can't remember who it was, where she said, "This is really boring. Do they actually play the same song over and over?" Already, they're just a really easy way just to explain why they're playing the same song and how a competition works in the music world. So it's just.
But I'll say this: by the end of, I guess it was the 2nd episode, maybe the 3rd episode, and I refuse to look ahead, but my gut tells me this is a tragedy.
Yeah.
It certainly feels like it.
Like you're right. I don't think you're wrong about things getting better for him, but I think this is a tragedy, not a romance. If we're using the Shakespearean terms, Shakespearean. It's not a Shakespearean romance. It's a Shakespearean tragedy.
I've been enjoying April so far. The way they do the characters is just phenomenal. I really feel attached to the main character with his struggles with a parent that's overbearing and extremely traditional.
No, and I love that just because I was really afraid when I was reading this synopsis that it was going to be like, oh, loving, kind mommy dies, and then you just find out no, mommy was a horrible person. He wants
to appease her. Mm-hmm. No, yeah, and he wanted to appease her. If anything, it's not like he was miserable. He knew he had he just wanted to make her happy, and the only way to do that was just to get better.
And if he did get better, she beat him, literally beat him with a cane. Jesus. But yeah, no wonder he's messed up.
The main character is just the best part of the show for me. In the interactions with essentially the polar opposite of him, fantastic. And my favorite part of the show so far was the latest episode where when the music notes started falling off the page.
Yeah, that was very well done.
That was so well done.
Almost Hyuga-esque for me, but that's I love Hyuga. But I think one of the main things I really love about the show as well is it's just the supporting cast, and the rest of the characters just they're just full of life, and just and they just move so much. They interact, the way they change the characters around them, which is obviously the main characters we have. It's just great to watch as well, just how they evolve ever so slowly.
Yeah, I definitely like the cast a lot because I feel like the show itself, you know, especially if you're watching the first episode, it seems like they're going down sort of a very cliche path, but they deviate just enough from it so that it keeps it fresh. Where I look at the character, you know, the best friend Watery, and you know he's presented as a playboy, and you know you're kind of going, oh well, we know where this is going, but you know at the end of you know the later half of episode 2, he gives some pretty good advice to Kosei, specifically you know telling him kind of to, if you like the girl, go after her, and I thought that was a nice change of pace because that shows signs of it almost seems like they're gonna avoid sort of the love square as it is, and they also present his other friend Tsubaki as more looking at him as a little brother. Now, of course, we'll see what if this is actually true in the end, but I like that they at least show signs that they're not going to sort of play this love square straight, and that they might you know just focus more on the main couple. I think
The act of
Yeah,
subversion,
hopefully.
don't you just love it?
Yeah, as long as they focus on, I mean, this is me personally, but I love if they could just focus on more that the relationship between Kaori and main protagonist, which I completely forgot his name now, and just how the music affects them, and just how they grow due to it. I'm more than happy. It might be Kids on Slope again. Oh, that's a great show as well. Oh, that's a long time ago, but yeah, Kids on the Slope. If it's anything like that, I'm all down.
I do
for
have
it.
to say that the only weak point of the show I have to say is a lot of the physical comedy in it, at least to me, comes off as a little flat. It's not terrible, but I just feel like it misses the mark sometimes, and it feels a little bit out of tone with the rest of the show. So that would be my only problem with it.
Constantly. One thing that always gets me about this show is the double standard female on male abuse. Now, if you have no idea what TV Tropes is and you haven't visited that page, I am very familiar with it, and that's just where apparently it's okay for females to beat up males, but it's not okay for the other way around. And this show seems to like that too much. It bothers me.
I guess is what are we talking about, the scene when he gets accidentally hit by a baseball?
He's been
The
hit
one
like
guy.
5 times by this girl.
Like,
no,
episode,
no,
and
she
there's
freaking
blood.
aims. She aims for him.
There's
no
blood
accident.
every time.
Yeah, there's no accident
Maybe-
involved. She's good enough to hit it through that window every time because she knows he'll be there.
Yeah.
Maybe he's sturdy enough to take it. I mean, I don't know. I guess
There's
after the first
blood
one,
on the floor.
yeah.
Like she knocks him out
That's
several
true.
times. Like
And didn't he like get hit like with a bat or something? I remember that because he was like lying on the ground or something.
Well, in his first meeting
Blood.
with Kaori, she
God.
threw the you know sort of the musica
Pianica.
Yeah, the pianica just threw it straight at him, like way to make a first impression, you know. So that's definitely something they keep up through
It
the
was his
episodes.
fault for taking a picture. It was his fault for taking the picture of our.
Well, yeah, he had innocent intentions, anyways. So you know.
that's the trope I hate. I hate the accidental pervert trope. I hate that so much.
Okay, yeah.
Like that one, that is my ultimate pet peeve. I'm just like, really? Either
Wait,
do it
Pina.
or don't do it, you know? Like,
But to the credit of the show, they move on fairly
or-
quickly from that. So
yeah. Or the ones where, or at least there's occasionally the one where, like, the girl actually is just like, oh no, I understand. This was obviously accidental. I'm not going to react like, I don't know, crazily. Of course, then we have something like Parasyte where there really was no excuse for that one.
But he did get a chance to explain himself. Actually, did he? I think he did.
Yeah, she gives him a chance to apologize.
Yeah,
he does.
but yeah, most of the times they don't because nobody got time for that apparently.
Nobody got that.
So there you go. Nobody got
This
time
is an
for that.
anime. They only got 20 minutes, man.
Yeah, but they got 12 episodes. They do have 12 episodes. Let's not forget that. All right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so that was that would be our pick. So just to recap it off, we had Sword Art Online, which finished its first arc, and apparently second arc, which is Caliburn. Oh, actually, it did. Then it came with Parasyte, which is a fantastic show. I hope it gets much better. Oh, but it's already good anyway. But I hope it gets even better as we go along. Vanadis, probably maybe one of the gems that I've definitely missed out. Don't know about you guys, but I'll probably be picking it up halfway.
yeah,
through.
you know, I think I'll definitely be picking that up. I tried yesterday, but Funimation was not being cool with me. But you know, the second you said Valkyria Chronicles, you had me there. So you know, that's definitely something that I'll be picking up then.
As long as it's not a part in where there's a giant tank and you've got to kill the giant tank in this desert.
Brutal chapter.
and you-
Brutal
and one
chapter.
shot through, and then the Valkyria comes and one shot
I'm
you like
still
a sniper.
stuck at that one.
I had to choose.
use the
I
watch
beat
so
that
hard.
one no problem. I never get it.
I didn't have a problem with that one, but that's because I always bring 2 snipers almost. So I just sniped the guns from a long way away and then ran up the clear side, like whatever.
I basically had all anti-tank guys in that one, and I beat it no problem.
That works
I don't
too.
know.
No, you're right. That way
Yeah,
it
I-
absolutely works.
Did you guys have any deaths in that? Well, I say deaths, like fatalities. You know, where there's a
No.
point
My first
in the game.
playthrough,
I
nobody
wrote
died. I
you.
didn't even know what
Oh,
happened if
I
someone died.
grinded so hard. I grinded so hard to make sure it never happened. Did it eventually, and I just gave up. I was like, I can't be doing it anymore.
I'm just in the Fire
My
Emblem
blood pressure was
mindset
too
where
high.
I just can't let any character die in any one of those games.
exactly.
So.
Yeah, that's how.
But
I
don't
see it
you
as
wait
well.
in Fire Emblem? Don't you have to let some die to get other characters?
Only in Shadow
Sometimes.
Dragon. That's only happened once though, and it's difficult to explain. But it was part of the plot. It was in the first chapter or something. But none of the other games have you
got to
doing
choose
that.
to sacrifice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I believe you choose to sacrifice between like a paladin or you have 2 knights and always sacrifice.
Well,
the
it's
paladin
either
he's
because
an
Shadow
XP
Dragon
sponge.
was a remake. You had Jagan, who is a terrible old paladin. So you're
God, no
playing a
one likes
prequel
Jagan.
to the original Fire Emblem with Mirth, and you can either choose to let a new character die named Frey, who had not previously existed in it. So he was kind of the canon choice, but you could let Jagan die if you wanted to. So that was the choice there. But this was in the second chapter of Shadow Dragon. So
Oh, okay.
God, Jagan, he just stole all my EXP. Oh, God. Anyway, clearly let's bring it back. So Vanadis, one of the I'd say we'd all one of the shows that we probably all might pick up. Trinity Seven, I don't know.
Harem
the show that exists. The show that exists.
Well,
It is
Well,
the
well,
harem
look,
show of
there's-
awesome.
Look, there's
We're not gonna judge.
okay. No. There's absolutely nothing wrong if you're a person who likes a harem show. There's nothing bad about
Yeah.
it. It's just basically this. Like, people want different things from anime.
You-
But they're all escapist fantasy. They're all
Yes.
escapist fantasy. Whether it's great love romance escapist fantasy escapist fantasy, or like seriously, if you're male, who doesn't dream of being the guy where all the girls want you? There's nothing wrong with an escapist fantasy
Exactly,
of that.
yeah.
It's and don't feel bad if that's something you really like. Like, there's absolutely no reason for you to feel bad. Not about that anyway.
We won't judge you. Here,
I'll
of course.
I'll add that it is easy to make a bad harem show.
Yeah, you can
It
make a
is.
really
It's
crappy
so
harem
easy
show.
to fall for that trap.
Like,
It is
don't get me
rare
wrong.
to have a harem show that sets itself apart and is actually kind of fun in a way. That doesn't
Yes.
happen too often.
But every
And
once in a
I
while
think
you-
Trinity 7 is one of them.
But every once in a while, you get a good harem show like a Love Hina or a Tenchi Moyo, or
These are some old shows.
well, the new
Well, this
Tenchi.
is
I've been
not
watching the
that,
new
but-
Tenchi, and let me tell you, that is some terrible stuff. Like, that is a really, really, really bad harem. Like, wow, is that one bad?
I think we should also have
Cool.
a friendly reminder. Clanad is a harem as well. Let's have a friendly reminder that it's a harem. It did quite well.
Yeah. I guess
A lot of
Canon's
people-
a harem too, and that one was really good too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. All right, and then Shigatsu, I'm just shortening it because I'm lazy, or A Lie in April, and I think we're all happy with that, and we probably all urge for others to watch it because it is probably one of the prettiest shows anyway this season.
can't argue with that. Go watch it, everybody.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fantastic,
if you're looking
really.
for, it's high school romance, but it's a good one, really good, especially if you have any connection with music. Definitely recommend.
Certainly.
And that will just wrap up for the first part, where we just for those shows that are airing this season. And I believe Richard will be having to take his leave.
Yes,
sadly.
I sadly have to go. It is we had some interesting recording difficulties, so now it is 12:44 a.m. and I'm a little baby and I need my sleep. So
They don't need to know that.
Richard
I'm just
already
missing
did
you
his
out.
up all night today, so he has to
Yeah.
actually go to sleep now.
yeah, finally. But yes,
Yeah.
But yes, anyway, as always,
great.
thanks for listening, everybody. And if you want to contact me, you can find me quite easily on Twitter at Biggest in Japan. And of course, I post on Kotaku every Tuesday and Friday. And yeah, so I'll see
Yeah,
you guys
thanks
later.
for being here. We'll see you next time, Richard.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
I'll see you
All
all
right.
later. Goodbye.
All right. So this would then lead us to segment 2 of the episode, where we'll be discussing shows that have aired recently and our versions of how to improve them. Now, this could get a bit loose and a bit far-fetched, but in overall, I think I think it does improve the show overall. I say we could go with Kevin first because I just said so.
Because you
So
said
Kevin.
so.
Yeah, I know, right? That's
Because
the power of the host.
because you said so.
It's the power of
Okay.
the host. So, Kevin, you picked a show that aired, I think, last season.
Mm-hmm. It was one I reviewed. The Invaders of the Rokujouma. And I butchered Japanese there, so sorry about that.
I think it was pretty close, but
Yeah, so that show was actually fine for the first few episodes, I thought. But just quickly recap what it is before your improvement on it.
It was a harem show about everyone fighting for a room, except they stopped fighting for the room. They started throwing in drama,
essentially.
and that ruined the show. So the way to fix it is not throw in the drama, continue the comedy, and get Production IMS to do that, because that would be amazing, because IMS is awesome, and they would totally kill that if they just
production
didn't do the drama. Yeah.
Production IMS, I want to believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a few points at the end of the story that just pissed me off, the way they executed it. So
Didn't they just go crazy and they fight more people? I'm pretty sure that's what happened in the last few episodes, didn't they? Yeah, I don't know.
Weren't there
And they
aliens or something? I remember someone saying something about aliens.
Oh yeah, they introduced another antagonist at the end, didn't they? As in the hope for that sequel money, you know, they get that sweet Blu-ray money out of us. So yeah.
So bad.
So yeah, and then so what was the improvement? I might have missed it.
Give
it to
drama,
Production
give it to
IMS. For those of you who don't know what Production IMS, Rock and I kind of love Production IMS because they've had 2 out of the parks and they've only done 2 shows.
Well, no, they've done another one.
Well, they're currently doing Twin Tales as well. They only have
Okay.
3 shows that they've run primary production on, though.
And what are they?
Which was Inari Con, which you guys might remember.
I
Which
love
is amazing.
I liked it too. It was God. I don't know why it was so good.
It's
But
such a bittersweet anime, but yeah.
Then there was Date Alive 2, which they got handed off. They didn't do the first one; they were handed off the second series, and they managed to knock that one out of the park too.
Amazing.
Fair enough.
And of course, they're doing Twin Tales, which is airing this season. And they're going to be doing another show in the winter, as I just learned earlier, if you guys want to hear this.
Oh, go for it.
Apparently, it's about a guy who has a demon and a succubus move into his house, or something like
Legit.
Legit. And
So, Production
shenanigans
IMS hype.
happens?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well, judging from how they've done all 3 of the shows so far, I'm guessing that it's going to be, kind of either a light comedy or a really heavy on the comedy, like Twin Tales or something like that.
Fair
So what
enough.
Rock's saying is, hand it
hand it over
hand
to
it all
someone
over to
else.
Production
Yeah.
IMS, and they'll make it gold. Because
Yeah.
so far they've been able to make everything gold. I'm loving Twin Tail because
I feel like
I'm
maybe
a
one of the ways they
fanatic.
could have improved it is if they could license some like actual games, like board games or whatnot, or just games that don't need licensing, and just let them play like I don't know, Twister. I'm sure they did actually do that in one of the ends. In the ends, but like let's say I'd love to see them try something else, to expand on this game.
Yeah.
To
The
win.
thing is, they
I want
gave
to see
up
more of
on that. They gave up on it after 3 episodes, and I enjoyed it so much. It was like I was
They
devastated.
They could have had an airsoft battle or something.
Yeah,
It could be
they have been
Sagabu
playing-
all over again.
Exactly. Yeah, they could be doing that. They could have been. They could have done so much. It's so low. I mean, they have the technology. It seems. I mean, one came from space with a super spaceship. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Every day.
Right. So that was a quick fix, I suppose.
Yeah,
And,
it kind of was.
Yeah. So let's hand it to David then. What show did you pick, and how would you have done it?
I've got Nisekoi.
Oh,
And I just
Nisekoi.
decided to take this one up to 11. You all know Nisekoi. It's the love triangle romance show that everybody loved shipping to the end of time. By the way, what
Yeah.
are the ships here? I need to know.
I didn't mind it. I thought everyone was fine.
You thought, oh, you
I'm
don't have a
neutral.
ship.
I'm
Oh.
neutral.
Onodera.
But I
Onodera.
agree with Matt. Though.
Onodera.
But anyway,
Gotcha,
since I'm neutral, I
gotcha.
agree with everyone, of course.
I see that there's a lot of Onodera hype here. Okay. Well,
You're the wrong crowd, my friend.
yeah. In any case, we all know what Nisekoi is. It was the love triangle anime. And you know what else has love triangles? Macross, or Macross, however you want to say it. So I figure, let's just go ahead and take this up to 11 and just make Nisekoi Macross. Because
Is this
Who
the one with
doesn't?
the singing? One where
Yes.
they sing at the end?
the
Oh, yeah,
idols
that's a
and
good
the
one.
love triangle set in the middle of a gigantic war, essentially.
And then
So-
the singing. Yeah, go on, sorry.
So yeah, let's just go ahead and put Nisekoi and Macross together and make this big, over-the-top love triangle set in space with Onodera. Just so you all can be happy about it.
That reminds me, I
Right.
need to see Macross.
And
Yeah.
what, they all like have their mechs and fight, and then I guess.
Well,
it
of
makes
course,
sense,
of
'cause-
course.
Yeah, it
because
makes
you
sense.
know the keys. Maybe those unlock the mechs or something.
Yeah, and you
Oh,
get
the
the two
ideas
armies.
are endless.
You have Chitogi's Italian mafia with all their mechs.
Exactly,
And,
exactly. A posse
yeah.
to keep her safe and whatnot when she's
yeah,
being
so
an
you
idol
have
or
a-
whatever. Come on.
Exactly, you have
It's
the
all
three warring
there.
factions there because you've got the police and then the Japanese yakuza. You know, it all makes sense.
It is all there. We just need to make it happen. Nisekoi Macross, okay? Come on. You know you want to fund this
I'm
Kickstarter.
not
Come
a big
on.
mech fan. I'm not a big mech fan, sadly. So, if anything, that'd be a turn off for me personally.
I've watched
It's not
it.
about the mechs. It's about the shipping. That's
he
what
would win.
Macross always
Shipping.
was.
In
He would win, though.
space!
In space.
That's what Macross is, shipping in space.
Oh no.
And big explosions sometimes, but who doesn't like big explosions? So again, Nisekoi explosions, mechs, and Macross.
But
It
will there
all
be a
makes
winner?
sense.
Will there be a winner though? That's the
Well,
thing.
of course, that'll be in the movie.
You got to squeeze out every
Oh, sorry.
talent out of everyone.
Yeah, spoiler alert, Macross Frontier did have a winner in the movies.
But is that like alternate universe? You trick them by saying in an alternate universe or like a rewind time back. So you just trick everyone, so everything's still possible.
I can't spoil that. No.
Well, it's like Face Day, isn't it? You could just pretend it's roots. They're all different roots, and you can squeeze all the money out of every fan. So
Well,
you
yeah.
do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah,
And then-
aliens, mecha, Shoji Kawamori, and endless shipping wars. That's Nisekoi Macross, also in space.
Fair enough. So it's creative, definitely creative. Now, me and Matt, we picked the same show, and it's quite an infamous
It
show.
is.
I think among those last season. It's just a shame because it had so much potential doing it.
It was winter.
Yeah. Was it? Oh,
I
okay.
still like it.
But,
I still like it.
we-
So.
Oh, I like it with a
I
picture
really
of
I
lots
really
of
love
salt.
it. I mean, I liked it more than Toradora, so.
I don't think anybody's actually said the name yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's cut the chase. We picked Golden Time. Now, obviously, we picked probably very different fixes. So I'll let you handle yours first.
Okay, well, I'm gonna start off. Tada Banry, he had a very
Best
strange
character.
childhood. He's the main character of Golden Time, by the way, and it all came to a head one day when he was hit by a car, and basically what happened was his ghost came out of him, and he lost his memories and things. But what happened after that was he was recruited by a secret organization who sends him on missions and stuff like that, where he meets fellow agent Kagakoko there, and basically.
Men in Black style. I like it.
So, anyways, his mentor Willem Dafoe sends him off onto all sorts of missions, and gradually they fall in love, and he nicknames his he nicknames his ghost Aiden. So the ghost helps him and turns the weather bad when they need to get out for extractions and that sort of thing. And of course, he becomes disillusioned, and over time he finds out that Willem Dafoe was the one who hit him with the car, and then he ends up going on a journey of self-discovery to go visit the Native Americans and such. So this is a crossover, if you haven't guessed by now, with Beyond Two Souls with Tada Banry. So that would be my fix, and I feel like it'd be very action-packed. He'd have to grapple with his his beloved Linda Senpai and things, and in the end, it would make the ending actually feasible, because you wonder in the real ending of Golden Time how he managed to get the ring in his hands and things, and then you find out in the end that Linda Senpai has her own ghosts, so they all live happily ever after.
Whoa.
The end.
Whoa. That's
Mind
twist.
equals
Oh
blown.
snap!
That's crazy, man.
And somehow Linda shipping managed to get into this. Wow.
So everyone wins.
Well, I
essentially.
actually
Everyone
ship Coco and Banry, but you know, poor Linda doesn't get. She gets the short end of the stick in this, so I feel like this manages to reconcile the ending a little bit and makes everything better. And you know, of course, running tech support and bro support is you know, Ultimate Bro 2D-kun. So they all managed to get in there. So.
Oh man. Oh yeah. Oh, man, that's actually amazing. I'd probably watch that again. Jesus,
it would actually make the things work,
what sort
which
of
is the
missions
best
would they
part.
be doing?
Like, it would make the ending work so much better.
Like, what sort of mission? All right, I know it's a secret agent stuff they'll be doing as well. I guess at the beginning with Tada Banry and Ghost and Kagakoko. That'd be pretty good. I'd watch that. Is that kind of like Kingsmaker? I guess I haven't seen Kingsmaker. It looks a terrible film. Or there's another film that's going to relate it to, but I can't remember now off the top of my head. Oh well. Or James Bond, that's it. You count James Bond, where Kaga is the Bond girl.
Yep.
And and Linda would have been the assistant. Or what's her name now?
Moneypenny.
Oh my gosh, you know this. But that's it, Moneypenny. Yeah, that'd work, wouldn't it? Oh, that'd be pretty good.
And Willem Dafoe would be
What
in
are
it.
you Moneypenny shipping now?
Yeah, the ghost would be the gadgets. The ghost would just be all Bond's gadgets because it's undetectable. It's a ghost, of course. It's perfect with that. But who would you be?
Wow.
Which Bond would you pick though for Tada Banry? It's the real question. Which Bond would it be?
Well,
Well, yeah, you gotta pick.
well,
a Bond.
he to
You
me,
gotta
he's
pick a
probably
Bond,
more
man.
of a Roger Moore, just because, and that's my least favorite James Bond, because you know, Tada Banry's a bit of a wimp, so. I'd like for him if he was, you know, a Daniel Craig or a Sean Connery, but you know, it's probably not
Maybe
happening.
it might be
so.
a Timothy Dalton actually.
He doesn't
Maybe.
have the charisma.
Nope.
Well, that's not. If anyone, then you probably pick Timothy Dalton, wouldn't you? As the least Bond-like character, actor
But
anyway.
Timothy
Kind
Dalton
of, yeah.
had more of an edge though to him, at least in comparison to Roger
Yeah.
Moore, who's like, you know, like Roger Moore is not who I imagine James Bond, because James Bond, you know, gets his hands dirty, and Roger Moore is just kind of this, I don't know, little bit of a wimp in my opinion. But compared to the rest of them, so
I always prefer the Bond where the suave Bond who can get everything done, you know, cleanly, rather than the Daniel Craig Bond where, you know, he's roughed up, you know, his suit's gone almost, his tie's undone. I'm not about that Bond. I prefer Pierce Brosnan. But
yeah,
that's
he's a much
Pierce
better
Brosnan.
version of Suave Bond than Roger Moore, anyways. So.
I guess. Yeah, true. All right. And that leads with my fix and how I would handle Golden Time. Now, I think one of the main reasons a lot of us, because I think not many of us read the source material before getting into Golden Time. So when we all saw Ghost Tada Banry, we all thought, holy crap, what is he doing? He's ruining the show. He's making all the bad things in the world happen. Instead, we spin it, make him the antagonist of the show, Ghostbuster styles. Everyone's going to hunt Ghost Tada Banry, right? Now, think about this, right? You know,
Well, there's
late at night
some Banry in the neighborhood.
Exactly, you know, it's late at night in the university on the dorms. You hear something, you hear something crazy going on. Tada Banry's interaction with, he would be, and his crew would be obviously 2D-kun. Who's the guy with the blonde hair? I can't remember his name now. Oh my god, it's escaping me. The guy who's the initial partner.
The guy who
for Kaga.
bleached the hair or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'll just call him bleached hair guy.
Yeah, here he would be part of the team, and then I guess Kaga, because she's the main character anyway. Those would be consistent with the original cast of Ghostbusters, and just be running around trying to chase down Ghost Tada Banry as he cause all sorts of havoc, ruining other people's shows and animes. Because I think I blame anything bad that happens in anime on Ghost Tada Banry. You never know; he's always.
Oh
there.
no, the
Maybe they'll
weather's
even
turning
jump in.
stormy. We know both Ghost Banry's out there. Let's go get him.
Exactly, yeah, and it'd just be he'll be like Tokyo ESP-esque. You know how when the ghost, when they did the cameo of Ghostbusters, instead it'd be Tada Banry and crew, and them trying to chase. Well, instead of Penguin, it'd be the ghost, and the ghost would be the reason why any show is bad. It'd be like this really crazy, utmost meta anime. You know, it'd be brilliant. I think.
And would the
Such a great
climax of the movie involve a giant marshmallow version of Ghost Banry?
No, it'd be actually the climax would be in Glass Lips where there's multiple Ghost Tada Banrys. It's not David.
Oh,
it's
God!
and then after they own struggle, the team gets split up, and then they eventually converge back again, and then take on the final Tada Banry, which would be the Ghost one, but the giant marshmallow version. But first, you have to get through the multiple Talibanries, of course.
I see, so we've gone all shonen on this.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you can ask a bit of what's that show where they got find feathers in parallel universes? Not such a terrible show. Tsubasa Chronicles. It could be a bit like that. They have to do a bit of time traveling, bit of Doctor Who-esque style. Bit of that. I'd be fine with that. So yeah, that's how I would improve Golden Time. But you can keep the ending and opening, so that's absolutely fine.
Or
So they tricks you into at the beginning of the show, you think, oh, Golden Time, I love this opening. Suddenly, Ghostbusters. That's how I'd handle it.
I know this is kind of a joke segment,
Wow.
but being serious, either adapting it straight or getting rid of Ghost Bannery would have done the job too.
Yes.
But no one wants that. I mean, I think he's so famous now that we have to have him around. Like, he's just the sole reason what we blame on if anything goes wrong. I feel
Yes.
It's just easier. Don't blame the show. Blame Ghost Talibanry.
Well, a lot of the vagueness in the ending is
Yeah.
because of Ghost Bannery 2, and they weren't able to sort of properly explain the context of the last episode, which I defended a lot, but I definitely understand a lot of the complaints with it. So it would have been a much stronger show if they had done what Kevin was saying, is that, and just cut him out entirely, because a lot of the stuff they could have done Bannery with more of a split personality or something like that didn't seem so sort of out there, where it was more explainable and things, and because I don't think we needed the the parts where Ghost Bannery is causing them to crash the car. Ghost Bannery's causing like the thunderstorm to come and stuff like that. Just felt just unnecessary overall, I thought.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe it should have been like Sixth Sense style, and Talibanry just realised he's dead. Like, the ghost is just a reflection of him, but in the end of the show, he just realised he's dead. Bruce, oh god, I guess it's like spoilers, but everyone knows Bruce Willis is dead in Sixth Sense.
What?
Yeah, we could have done that. Or would you like Fight Club spoiled instead? I mean, we could go either way here.
Hey,
God,
you don't
that'd
talk
be
about
good.
Fight Club.
I know.
Do you understand?
But
Do you understand, man?
Al fixes. So the shows that I guess we should. I mean, should we tell how Richard would have fixed it? I mean, Richard did have it planned, and shamefully had to.
Sure,
leave.
I think it'd be good to talk about
expand on it.
Psychopaths 2, just because that's a new arc starting up, and that's a fairly popular show too. So
Yeah, and Richard's version of Psychopaths would have been a buddy cop film, and it could have gone either Starsky and Hutch style or Lethal Weapon, and I still would have watched that. Where Akane's the sassy cop who kind of play it by the book, but still lets leeway for any of her male detective partners, while he's off getting drunk, snorting cocaine because it's the 80s, and then they got a report to their commanding officer, which is Sybil. I'd watch that.
I'd watch that.
It'd be pretty
Yeah.
good. And then Gina would be the rival pair of Akane's and co. So that'd be pretty good.
This is just
actually.
reminding me of the other guys.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that.
I'm trying to avoid season 2 because, due to the fact what happens in season 1 is kind of prolific.
No,
in what
he's talking about
happens.
the
No,
film,
the movie
right?
The Other Guys.
Oh,
But
Yeah.
Will Ferrell, Mark
Oh,
Wahlberg.
The movie is
yeah.
it's a buddy cop comedy.
Oh, no, not with Mark Wahlberg. Oh, I feel sorry for that guy. He needs a better job. He needs to get better roles, essentially. Look, don't even Transformers. I'm just saying Transformers. All right.
I'm gonna say The Happening, but
I thought he did alright there. Anyway.
what?
He did. Like, he was young. Leave the guy alone.
It was 2008.
He was starting out. All right. Anyway, so we picked. Obviously, the shows were then it was two. So me and Matt were Golden Time as our improvements. Kevin with Invaders. David with Nisekoi and Richard.
Nisekoi Macross.
And Richard, who isn't here sadly with us, with Psychopaths, which is actually, to be fair, a really good show on its own. Anyway, I don't think it needs improvements.
Not season 2
That's
needs
my
some improvements.
opinion.
Let me tell you. So.
Yeah, season 2 needs some improvements. Like,
I've yet to see the latest episodes, but it's not, I don't know what are the issues with it. Just quick.
Well, they're
quickly,
mischaracterizing a lot of like the writing is. You can tell there's been sort of a tonal shift in the writing, where certain characters, like one in particular, who's a new character on the show, is just the writing with her is all over the place and seems to contradict the character that was established for this character in season 1, anyways. And it's just really jarring in comparison to the route the story seems to be taking. And it seems like, especially with the most recent episode, that they've just kind of thrown they're just kind of writing stuff in there that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, at least in my opinion, without getting into spoilers.
Okay, fair
and
enough.
the visuals are totally off.
Really?
Yeah, like there was a few there was like I remember there was one shot in particular where there was nothing but the characters and ground. Like it was an overhead shot, and there were little tiny characters, and you were staring at the ground.
They were staring at
No,
the,
the shot was staring at the ground.
Okay.
Like in comparison
Nice.
to what IG did, it's not as good.
Oh, did it change studios? I didn't
Yeah,
know
it's
that.
changed
I thought it did.
studios.
Oh, okay then, fair enough.
Who's doing it?
I don't remember.
Okay, it's not important. Gotcha.
It's a good thing we're an informative type podcast, right, guys? So we'd be dead in the waters. So.
Well, you see, if we don't remember what the studio is, that tells us all we need to know.
Well, I didn't even know it changed. So there you go. I'm already ill-informed on that front.
Well, I was kind of assuming something like that happened. What with the
Oh.
writer changing.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's
Alright,
I think
so
it's
that's
Tatsunoko Productions.
To Ubukata.
So,
And To Ubukata is writing it, and yeah, Tatsunoko Production.
yeah.
Oh, that's all right. They did Yozakura Quartet. I really like Yozakura. The remake of 2013 one. They did a remake, so I think that's fantastic. So
They did
hopefully
Ping
it's-
Pong.
Oh, of course. I think it's in good hands. It's in good hands. I feel. God, Ping Pong's so good. Have you seen it yet? Have you caught on to it?
No,
we
no.
haven't.
Oh, you guys are missing out still. You guys still missing out.
Do you want me to watch Chiaifuru or Ping Pong? Okay.
Look, it's so obviously. Just stop watching Twin Tales. You probably catch it all the time, right?
Hell no. Hell no.
Or Trinity 7. Just stop watching one show at least.
Absolutely not. Trinity 7. I'm at least having fun.
All right, fair enough. Well, you're not having fun with Chihaya? Ah, shame.
I'm
Anyway.
only on episode 6. I'm sure that it's going to get fun eventually.
Oh, it depends. Do you like
has
cartoons that are kind of old?
Yeah, kind of.
Well then. Right. So that wraps up for episode 9. Obviously, it's a bit of a... Richard had to leave halfway through, but it's fine. We're here at the end, at the finish line. David, any last thoughts before we all leave?
Well, actually, I was thinking about bringing something up. Weren't you the one, Matt, who wanted us to do like a little mini PSA really quick? That was one of your ideas for the second segment. I figure we have some time. Do you guys want to go
Oh yeah, we've got
dive
time.
into that? Okay.
Alright, we'll edit this. Shh, no one needs to know.
No, you can just leave it in. But look,
Yeah.
yeah, let's refocus. So,
Alright.
wasn't it you, Matt, who asked about this? I'm just trying to remember.
What did I ask about?
I
don't
how
remember
to
that.
support the anime industry. How to support the anime industry or whatnot.
Yeah, that.
Well, we can just go ahead and do a PSA.
Yeah, we can touch on that again. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so this is part 2 of the Ani-TAY PSA on the anime industry, because we did this for a couple of minutes at least once before.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
All right, well,
Well, I guess since I guess since I'm relatively
sorry.
new to anime, I'll talk a little bit about what I sort of do to support the anime, because I'm of the opinion that, if you like something, you should pay for it to try and support them and keep them
Yes.
going. And I buy a number of Blu-rays, and always the licensed ones for me, but I buy a number of the Blu-rays and things. But I think it's interesting to know that doesn't really support the actual creators of the show. It's just more supporting the licensing. So I guess I found that interesting, but at the same time, just the prices are so prohibitive buying anything directly from Japan that I feel comfortable myself at least buying the Blu-rays. Like I bought the Attack on Titan Blu-rays and Psycho Pass and that sort of thing. So,
Well,
but they're
that's
from
because
Funimation.
Funimation
So.
has reasonable pricing.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So
yes. When it comes to supporting the anime industry, there's a couple of things to realize that we touched on before. When you pay for a Crunchyroll account, you're helping, but you're not necessarily going to be getting a lot of money to the people who are making these things to begin with. I think that's important to realize. Just because you pay for a Crunchyroll account, it's a good moral thing to do, but it's not necessarily going to get you the season 2 that you're looking for by just doing that. So never think that that's going to help, at least
Yeah.
explicitly.
I think one of the main... I always see the main income for any studio, or at least the people who make the series anyway, it's like what you want to look for is something more tangible, like figurines, models.
Blu-ray sales.
They're the sort of thing that brings...
Yeah.
They're
The
things that
Blu-ray
bring-
sales,
Blu-rays
the
especially, yeah.
merchandising. There's a lot of that.
I mean, obviously it's quite a high price, but because of that, it then at least I said good. I'd say, I mean, I don't know the actual figures. So I'm just going off the top of my head. Maybe 40, 60. 60 to the people who make it, and 40 for and some of it 40 goes to the original creators. And even then, it's still obviously buying in the West affects so little that happens in Japan.
Yeah.
So obviously, as much as we want to, it's very difficult, I think, to support, especially where we are. Like, we're not the main target audience. That's the thing. for these shows. So, in Japan, only looks at sale figures and the animators look at sale figures in Japan and see, oh look, people are buying this in Japan. Let's keep pumping it out for that. And if it just happens to be popular in here, that's just an added bonus. It's not like saying, oh, we sold poorly in Japan, but it did okay in USA or UK or the UK. They'll keep doing it. That's not the point of them making the anime. We're not the target audience, sadly.
And I think there's a bit of a cultural divide in terms of, if you're someone new coming into anime, because I guess what we don't realize is that anime is an expensive hobby. It's something that if you're going to be supporting, you're going to be shelling out a lot of money. Where I was coming, typically from buying American TV shows, where you can expect for the entire season you're going to pay $50 for the Blu-ray, and that's going to be that. Because I remember after watching Sword Art Online, I had wanted to buy the Blu-rays, and of course I looked at Aniplex of America's pricing, and I was just like, $400 for the entire show? Nope. So that, I can see that's why they have trouble attracting that sort of support, because it's hard when we're used to prices being cheap, and that's why I like supporting Funimation specifically, is because they cater towards my price range, kind of. But it's pretty jarring when you look at the amount of money that you need to be able to support the hobby. So.
Oh yeah.
Especially even going to even one of the other ways might be less inexpensive. It's just social media. Enough a bigger voice out enough. Maybe will then encourage other people to pay for it, or buy theirs. To buy things out of a show they like as well, which you might share the same interest in, which could maybe develop into more money for animators. To then pick up that series again for season 2.
I think it bears mentioning that. This is getting into financial nitty-gritties, but the yen is weak. The Japanese yen is weak. So I think it's important to note that when you try to buy like a piece of merchandise off of an American retailer, it might be worth going to check like Amazon.co.jp or something like that to see how much the yen is for it. Because when it comes right on down to it, the dollar can kick the yen's butt, and they like that. So it'll probably be cheaper, especially when you adjust for the currency conversion at Japan if you're looking for some kind of merchandise, and that will directly support the industry.
Try and cut the middleman essentially.
And a lot of the Blu-rays in Japan are import friendly, so like you'll have English subtitles already.
Yeah,
you just have to be iffy on regions. So.
Well, it's nice.
Region locking.
Because I guess we share the same region as Japan
Blu-ray
right
players
now. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, most Blu-ray players are technically region-free anyway, I'd say.
Yeah, they started cutting out region stuff pretty early on.
Yeah, so there's no harm in that, and especially if you've got like consoles. I think, do Xbox have a Blu-ray player yet? I think they do now.
Yep, the new Xbox One does.
But PlayStation's always been region-free. Yeah, but the PlayStation's always been region-free, so you've got a console as well. You don't have to worry about shelving out a whole new Blu-ray player just for the one disc. If you've got a console already.
Do always try to research it really quick and make sure you're not gonna be getting something without subtitles or something like that.
But there should be a cautionary message though, that do not pay for it if you can't. It can. It's a slippery slope when you want to support, especially when it comes to figurines. I don't do it myself, but I know that people do get a bit zealousy over which ones they want to collect and how many to collect.
Yeah, I have to rein in my model kit thing a little bit. I have 5 sitting right up there from some series which shall not be named, because then the move left counter would go up. Oh, damn it!
Oh, dear. But yeah, as long as it's not like filling up your entire room to the point where you can't do nothing but have to navigate around your figurines, is fine.
Yeah.
But make sure if you are going to finance it, make sure you're able to finance it yourself, of course, because it is a slippery slope.
Yep.
Especially the Blu-rays as well. I have to be careful when buying the Blu-rays. But Tamako Market though, oh my god.
Is that even on Blu-ray? Isn't that DVD only or?
Yeah. It took me forever to ship it to me for some reason, because it came out in Blu-ray earlier this month in October. Early October, and it took me like a whole month for it to get over here. It was just like
I don't think we got the Blu-ray over here. I think we got DVD only for because that was Sentai was doing that. So. Yeah.
Oh, I had to bring it from Japan.
Yeah.
All the way. It's not like out. Yeah. But,
and you got it on standard shipping, which is probably why it took a month.
I know. To be fair, I thought to myself, I'm probably not in a rush to watch it, but when it comes in, oh yeah, God, such a great movie.
at the risk of running up the counter again, my Sumika statue, which Rock you saw at the convention, yeah, that took me a month.
You got that?
Yes,
Oh.
I did. Yeah. Oh, so much fanboy.
Yeah, I never got into figurines, but obviously there is some enjoyment to have in having them.
Yeah,
Joining them even.
I'll complete the collection with the other half of Waifu sometime.
Oh, dear.
You know what I'm talking about, Rock. Yeah.
But hopefully that answers any questions regarding to the supporting the industry. I mean, it's only so much we can do, sadly, you know. And when it does-
Always research what you're gonna buy. Always know what you're buying, because that's really the best way you can protect yourself. But you know, if you really want a second season of something, buy some Merc, get the Blu-ray. Just do
and then
whatever you
finger
can.
crossed.
Anything helps.
After that,
Anything really
that, it
does.
is just fingers crossed and hope for the best, though. Really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It always will be.
'Cause-
Spice and Wolf.
I'm surprised. I'm just surprised that it's not got season 3. I thought just there's lack of content, but they actually finished the light novel, so.
Oh well. Thank
There
you,
you go.
Yen Press. Thank you. They're
Uh,
bringing over the light novels. If you haven't gotten them yet, Spice and Wolf light novels. Come on, guys. Support it.
Yen Press is bringing over a lot of
Okay,
light
there's
novels in
my
the near future.
PSA. Yeah, it's kind of they've been blossoming quite a bit as of recently. It's actually going pretty well for them. I applaud
That's
that
good
sort of
to
Yeah,
thing.
me too.
That's good to hear. Right. Kevin, any last thoughts then?
Not really.
No? Just like, bit groggy, are we?
Yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah,
We'll
I
have to
know
edit
that
that
feel.
out. That's going to be edited out. Matt?
Did you guys talk
Any
about
last-
Nozaki already on the last episode, or did you cover the end of it, or?
I
You're
don't
asking a dangerous question here.
So
Last episode?
No, like
What?
just the last bit of Nozaki.
Well, I'm more than happy to talk about Nozaki, but yeah, okay. I just think we have. Have we?
Have we?
I don't
David?
think so.
No, of course not. What about Nozaki?
Well, I just feel like that was one of the real standouts of the summer season, anyways, in terms of the way that it incorporated the humor into into the show and subverting those sort of shoujo tropes. And I felt it was very consistent all the way through. They kept the characters very funny and consistently characterized, but they were hilarious all the way through. The way that Chiyo was interacting with Nozaki, and even right to the end, the payoff was absolutely perfect. I have no complaints with that show. And I know specifically in episode 4, I was thinking of you, Kevin, when there's a scene where Nozaki and I forget his name, but the red-haired guy, they were playing a visual novel, and he was
great.
and
That
he was
was
playing
great.
everything just super straight, and just one of the funniest sequences I've seen this year, and I thought that was a particular standout. And of course, I guess I'll sum it up here, is that they were playing a visual novel and they were trying to choose between the girls, but then they realized that the typical best friend character was all he was doing was helping them out, and they began to have feelings, and they're just like, wait, what are we doing for him? He's the one who's actually in love with the main character. So they were really sad at the end. So they stayed up all night writing a boys love manga about it. And Chiyo walks in and finds them passed out with this new boys love manga of the protagonist getting with sort of the best friend of the thing. And I just thought, so well done. So
Yeah, that was a dating sim. Technically, you can debate that they are or are not visual novels.
Yeah. It can get fuzzy.
okay, my mistake then.
Yeah, Nozaki, like you said, is definitely a standout show from
Yeah.
that season.
I gave it a glowing
Yeah.
review, and I really enjoyed it.
Glowing.
And it still hurts when people still make fun of the ending when they go Hantai no season 2, and I just a single tear. I'm like, yes, you're right. There's no season 2. Well, so far. Apparently the manga's selling well, so there's always light down that.
The Blu-rays were selling well too. I saw they were. I think they were number 2 on the sales chart for Volume 1. So cross your fingers, I guess.
Yeah. Thankfully, it's one of those shows that happen to be both really funny, both to Japanese audience and us. And obviously, there's shows when sometimes that is when it's great, but we find, well, I say great, but we enjoy highly, like No Game No Life, that didn't do so well over in the native lands.
Really?
So that's, yeah, I'm pretty sure No Game No Life wasn't as well received in terms of audience. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know about the sales. I haven't looked at them in a while.
Okay,
But yeah, No Game No Life season 2.
we should wrap this
not
up.
happening.
Okay.
Yeah. So, any last words on your way to say goodbye, David?
No, just the usual. You can find me on Kinja, Dexomega.kinja.com. I'm on the Ani-TAY blog, Ani-TAY.kinja.com. You get the idea. I write about anime stuff and the like. I may or may not play visual novels from time to time, like Da Capo right now, which is the most confusing fucking thing ever. Dear God
There's
in
like
heaven.
3 of them, isn't there?
Yeah.
3 or 4?
Yeah. I'm on the
Jeez,
second one. I still don't understand what the hell is going on. Oh, God. Yeah.
Kevin?
You can find me on rockman-12 at kinja.com with a fancy new GIF, and I do visual novel anime reviews, and I have one I'm really looking forward to. I'm working on right now, Ever 17. So, yeah, that'll be awesome. I'm trying my best to make my reviews better than before, and so GIFs all over the place. So many GIFs.
The strive for improvement. Very good. Matt?
You can find me as mdubs on Tay. I'm pretty sporadic in terms of my posting. I used to post a little bit more because I just write and lecture, but I did write something, so I have a new thing hitting tomorrow. It's about cliche love stories, so it ties in a little bit with our talk about Your Lie in April and why those love stories just feel so good. So that's what's hitting tomorrow, and yeah, you can just I'm around Tay, so you can find me on there and Ani-TAY. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll be eager to read that. I had a little skim through the what was it now? The proofread.
Yeah.
A little bit. Seemed very
Thanks.
good. Yeah. Yeah, and then I've been your host, Ken, also known as FruityDrinks. I am the dead poster. I've been posted like once every other blue moon. I am there still. I'm still hanging around. It's just I'm very late, very slow. But they seem to be okay, and just generally bipolar opinions on stuff, especially when I called Magi the best shonen there has been, and people didn't take that too well. Actually, they took it quite positively, but then someone brought up Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I was like, it's alright, and then they didn't go down so well, that conversation. But hey, yeah,
It
and
happens.
thanks for thanks for being here, Matt.
No,
as
thanks
always.
for having me. That was
Fantastic.
wonderful.
Yeah, been an absolutely fantastic guest. And this has been episode 9 of the Ani-TAY Podcast. And until then, we'll see you next time. Bye,
All right,
everyone.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.